If you're interested in supporting this work, you can support me on Patreon, and that will help me make more videos and more podcasts for you in the future. Click the link down below on Patreon, or I'll put the link up here in the corner to Patreon, so you can go there and become a Patreon supporter.
Get mantra and meditation MP3s at jasongallant.ca.
One thing that is lost in many of the New Age circles is that enlightenment itself cannot be taught. The essence of who you are can't be taught. The source of who you are cannot be taught. That is something that must be discovered. But what can be taught is, or are, the tools that you can use to unravel your own illusion, so that what is the foundation of your entire experience is revealed. Some people call it unraveling the mind, but it's really the ego mind. It's not that you go out of your mind crazy insane. It's just that you surrender the template that is the prison, so that the new, sober, clear template emerges, which is in alignment with a greater whole. It's not based on separation. It's like you become one with the spiritual Borg. For those Trekkies out there that understand that. Your mind is no longer so much your own. There's another spark of something that's running the show. So the experience of something cannot be taught, but it can be discovered. And that's really what teachers and gurus and sages have been helping people with for thousands and thousands of years. It's really showing you where you may be caught up in a limited experience of who you are, a very limited piece. It's like you're only experiencing 0.01% of the immensity of you. It's like looking through a camera and not realizing that you are looking through it. You think whatever you can see through the camera is all of reality. Meanwhile, you're forgetting the person who is looking. You're forgetting who is looking. Because you start to think you are the camera, you are the point of view. That's very much like the mind. The mind is like the camera. But when there is distance between you and the camera, or you and the mind, then you realize that you can shift the lens at will to serve a greater intelligence instead of being stuck in only one point of view. The mind becomes malleable, flexible, open, so that it can contract to concentrate its energy or awareness on something, but it can also expand to take in a greater holistic view of things. So the ego becomes like a jellyfish, I guess. It doesn't get stuck in one way of perceiving things. It starts to become a slave to the heart. A slave to the beingness that you are. Because when you remember who you are, when you experience who you are, that naturally starts to run the show. The ego is like a child that sits at a video game and thinks that he or she is playing. Meanwhile, the screen is just going automatically on its own. That's like the ego. We think we have so much control when we're in the ego. We're doing everything ourselves. The earth is revolving around the sun because of some intent we have. Some will on our part, right? Meanwhile, everything is happening with or without our contribution. But when you let go of that limited view of things, you fall into the greater intelligence, the intelligence that is running the show. Sometimes this greater intelligence will work through you, sometimes not. It's not for me to say how this will happen, but I have observed this quite a bit, where things just seem to happen by accident, but they turn out to be perfection. See, the mind is not the thinker. The mind is not where your genius lies. The mind is more like a storage device. It stores and sorts information, and in order for this to happen, it also will categorize things, most often falsely. The heart knows in the moment, although the heart will never be able to explain why. It's an instantaneous, deep level of connectedness with a greater mind. The flow, some call it. The one intelligence that threads through all things. And yes, some people call this God. When you discover this aspect of yourself by letting go of your self-imposed prison, although for many of you it is unconscious, there is a deep state of fulfillment, freedom. A vast eternity. Words cannot describe what you are. Like I said before, you cannot describe this. And it's not really useful to do so, but every layer of your illusion that you unravel will bring great gifts. Gifts with no condition. No, you surrender this and I'll give you that, and vice versa. It's not really like that. It's more about realizing that you already are free. That everything was always here. You were already immortal. Despite the conditions that you are living in the physical body. This absoluteness becomes conscious. So as you go on your journey, remember you cannot learn this. You can only let go of the falsehoods that you have learned. And you can also learn techniques in order to do so. Some of them are physical. Some of them are about the inner mechanics of how to unravel your judgments of things. Perhaps you don't like feeling stuff. But don't try to find your way into a certain experience. That happens on its own. Just concentrate on letting go of your limitations. That will produce all of the results because they are guided by the intelligence. And it is not you, from the ego point of view, intelligence. It's something greater than you. Greater than you, meaning the limitation you have imposed upon yourself. Unconsciously, not on purpose. So just like there are many layers to an onion, there are many layers to you, many layers to your illusion. And as every small layer unravels, new levels of your vastness will reveal themselves to you. So enjoy it. So I hope this helps you on your spiritual journey. Take care for now.
Are you interested in working with a spiritual teacher in a formal setting? Well, perhaps the Wisdom Life School is for you. If you're interested in checking out what the Wisdom Life School is all about, just go to aratima.com.